So apparently, I innocently posted about my enjoyment, my pleasure with the National Health Services of England since moving here. However, I have the same doctor I had 8 years ago when I first moved here for only a year. But that caused some grief from a few people. Apparently, people have issue with the NHS, and I guess I understand that, but don't take it out on me, man. Like, first of all, let's backtrack for a second. For those of you in the UK that are watching this and think that maybe, this American dude, he's grifting on our free healthcare. That could not be further from the truth. And let me explain why. When I got my visa, before I could enter the UK, I had to pay up front for my NHS privileges. And in my case, that was a 5-year visa. So I paid the whole 5 years in advance, which was £10,000, which is probably like $14,000 in the US at least. Yeah. So I handed the UK government, the British government, £10,000. Plus I paid for my visa. And I also paid 3 times to apply for my visa, because every time they turn you down or they need more information, it doesn't matter. You have to apply all over again. So I'm well into £15,000 before I even entered the UK. So I'm paying for my coverage. I'm paying for my services. So let's just make that clear up front. Furthermore, even if I'm paying 2,000 quid a year, let's contrast that with $1,200 US a month for Cobra, which is what a lot of people are paying if they're not getting covered through their job. If you're paying for yourself, it's about $1,200 a month in America. So that's like $14,000 a year there. So I'm getting my National Health Service for 5 years, plus my visa and the fees, for about the same amount as I paid for 1 year of healthcare in America. And like I said in my video, which again, I don't understand why this causes consternation, I'm enjoying my doctor, who is the same doctor I had 8 years ago. She's tremendous. She's thorough. She's thoughtful. And she's on point constantly and makes me work for my health care, which is how it should be. If I'm not concerned, why should she be concerned? But she's concerned anyway, because the entire time, the 7 years since I left, when I first got her as my physician, she texts me and emails me weekly, monthly, for 7 years. Get this test, get that test. What's your blood pressure? What's this? What's that? Go do this, go do that. Are you eating well? What's your mental health? What about your prescriptions? For 7 years, when I wasn't even here. That's a real doctor. Now, contrast that with $1,200 a month in America, and I would have to constantly fight with my healthcare company, constantly fight and scrapple with doctors to interface between them and my healthcare company, even though they were synced. And when I left America, they were not working together. In fact, I'd say back 6 months ago, I started getting random bills from my doctors for services that had already been paid for by my healthcare company. That again, I'm paying $1,200 a month for. And I'm like, what is this? Finally, I call them up. I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, your healthcare company kicked this back to us. And I'm like, what do you mean they kicked this back to you? It's already been paid for. That was a year and a half ago. A year and a half earlier. All of a sudden, my healthcare company. So when we called up the doctors, all the doctors were telling us the same thing, that United Healthcare was kicking it back to them. What did it turn out to be? United Healthcare suddenly decided that since I reached a certain age, that I should be on Medicare. I shouldn't be getting coverage through them. So I said to them, okay, well, does that mean that you're going to refund me the money that I paid you already? Oh, no. There's a clause in the bottom. If you look in the fine print in the bottom of the contract, it says we can do that at any time. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm giving you $1,200 a month for crappy coverage that you don't even cover everything. It was like 80% coverage, right? So I still had to cover 20% every time I saw a doctor or got surgery or whatever. But now you're saying that you can suddenly turn around and say stuff from 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, a year ago, I'm responsible for. Yes, that's what they were saying. And we had still not, it consumes you because you're having to run point between the doctors, and we're talking many doctors. I just don't have one doctor in America. I have neurosurgeons and a general physician and sports doctors and, dozens of doctors. So I am running interference between all of them with the healthcare company, and we still hadn't resolved it by the time we left. And I think I owe several $1,000s. Yes, I paid $14,000 a year for health care, and now I'm stuck owing several $1,000s. So say what you will about the NHS. Say what you will about socialized medicine in Norway. It's better than what I went through. And as you get older, this will matter to you more. Now, again, maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I've got a great doctor with a great team and I just happen to live in the right area. But I don't believe that entirely. I think that people in the healthcare field actually care. But I will say this, my doctor cares more than any of the doctors I had in America. Why? Do I think they're bad people in America? No. Do I think my doctor is a crumb? No. I think it's because they're so based on money. It's so corporate that, sure, the NHS being owned by the government is a massive undertaking and is going to have issues, right? But when it's all based on corporations, like as soon as the Affordable Care Act occurred in America, the corporations didn't want the Republicans to overturn it. You know why? Because they were making more money. They were making more money. Doctors were making more money. All that talk about, this is going to destroy things. No, it put more money in their pockets and took it out of mine and yours. So forgive me for saying the NHS works. It works better than what I had in America. So, you can believe whatever you want to believe, and that's fine. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's your country, and you know better than I do. But in my case, this works and this is better, and I really appreciate it, and I really respect the people who are doing it day in, day out. And I'll also say that being Norwegian, I've had a taste of the healthcare system in Norway, and it's excellent because all the money from oil goes for healthcare and to the people. So that's a discussion for another day. Okay, I'm not going to get into political philosophy, but that's what I was getting at. I would rather have a doctor and services that care more and make me work harder and participate more in my own health, in preventative medicine, than owe money and have to be a middleman between my doctors and the healthcare companies all the time when they're the ones making all the money. Seems pretty basic to me. All right.